Hi, and welcome to the Generalist, where security practitioners look beyond niches, silos, egos, and hopefully build their competence and credibility. My name is Ilya Omansky. We have changed our home. I'm extremely grateful to Leo Des and the team at Group 337 who have tirelessly worked to stand this up. Lee influenced me, nudged me to create this despite some reservations that I had, simply just maybe suffering a little bit from imposter syndrome and being unsure of how the message would carry forward. But what I noticed was that with every episode, I actually got deeper and deeper into thinking about our industry. And it also helped me do more research, engage with different products and services, and also think about the future of the industry. What is it going to look like in 10 years, right? And so now that Group 337 is moving ahead with their new and exciting chapter, we're moving the Generalist under the umbrella of Sphere State. And we're going to change this up a little bit because, as you know, Sphere State is launching this new continual learning platform for young and aspiring practitioners in our industry. The aspiration for the podcast, therefore, will be a little bit different. And we're going to try to focus on, I guess, scaling the talent. Because what I notice is, and if you look at the theme of everything I've been saying up to now, what I notice is that we exist as this collective of people who have, I guess, racked up a lot of years in the industry, who go and address different peer groups and communities. What we haven't been doing very well is opening doors and creating a unified platform for young and aspiring talent. We have plenty of it. Don't let anybody fool you into thinking that we don't have talent. Talent is there. They just don't know how to get into our industry. So I worry about that talent more than anything else. Simply because I used to be one. And I got into this industry completely by accident, like many of my peers whom I've asked the same question. Now, on the one hand, the argument can be, oh, well, wait, so the talent does come to our industry and it keeps on entering into different niches within our community. I grant you that. But is that talent well equipped to deal with the challenges that the wide spectrum of risks in organizations has to offer? Okay? I feel like there's not enough professional acumen, not enough foundational knowledge, and immediate dive into niches that occurs when young practitioners enter our industry. I mean, just look for yourselves. We have a lot of jobs that are open for threat intelligence, entry-level positions. We have a lot of jobs open and continually being advertised for close protection, executive protection operators. Now, you could say, okay, that's enough. But I feel like those are very narrow niches that don't give practitioners in those niches enough wide knowledge to be able to address, like I said before, complexity of the risks that we're dealing with. So, let me share with you what Sphere State, and particularly the skill domains continual learning platform, is hoping to accomplish. And I've recently posted about it on LinkedIn, and there are several aspirations. The first being that if we leave things at status quo, we won't be solving complex challenges for organizations. We're simply going to be coasting. And at some point, those organizations will continue to gravitate away from, I guess, the marginal benefits that our community has to offer. They'll look for other professions to fill that void. And that's dangerous because other professions are even less equipped for dealing with complexity of the risk environment. I also notice that we are not contextualizing, we're not kind of asking ourselves a question. Well, okay, so what does a well-rounded security or asset protection professional look like? What kind of knowledge should this individual have? So that's an aspiration of the Skill Domains Continual Learning platform, is to kind of change the perception about what makes a good asset protection practitioner. And hopefully at some point we'll be able to call those people professionals. Now, the reason why I make that distinction is because I've said it many times before, that we don't yet have enough justification to call security or asset protection a profession. Why? Compare ourselves with architects, engineers, doctors, and just take a look at the platforms that are available to young and aspiring talent in those professions to achieve their status, to achieve their competence and credibility. And so we have a long way to go in order to accomplish this. What I'm hoping to do with the Skill Domains platform is to create a nudge for our community to start saying, well, we have to have a more foundational academic education that is well accredited across multiple universities, that is equalized no matter whether you're taking a course in Bangalore or if you're taking a course in Boston. Okay, the degree that you'd be receiving, if it comes from a properly accredited program, should be the same. The material curriculum should be the same. To me, it seems like 7 domains of competence stand out more than anything else. I've talked about it before, but I want to repeat myself because I think that I'm not seeing a concerted effort from industry associations to actually come together and say enough with operating in a walled space. We're not collaborating nearly enough to create a proper academic system for entry into our industry. So, first domain, professional polish. There was an analyst position advertised not so long ago, and keep in mind the word analyst. The person shows up in the lift lobby for their interview. This lift lobby is connected to the reception area. No company sign is available for this person to understand where they need to go. This person, without having to check with the reception desk, stands in the lift lobby completely lost, unable to determine for themselves where they should be going. In a bit of a panic, this person starts sending messages to people with whom this person needed to interview, saying that I don't know, I'm lost, I don't know where to go. And now go back to this word analyst. Would you expect a person who is applying for an analyst position to stand in the lift lobby that's connected to a reception desk to feel lost upon arrival? Would you consider that this individual should have a little bit of a wherewithal and street smarts to figure out, okay, maybe I should ask somebody for assistance. Maybe I should just approach the person at the reception desk and say, hi, I'm here for an interview. I'm looking for this firm. So, and this is one of the attributes of a well-polished practitioner. The person has enough, or at least a baseline level of critical thinking, to be able to figure out their situational circumstances. Another thing that I noticed is how young talent goes on stage in front of large or medium-sized audiences and reads slides. That's not an indication of being a professional. That's an indication of being underprepared. Now, granted, there are people who allow folks like this to go on stage and present without any preparation or guidance, and therefore fail in front of audiences. But again, we're not really creating a universal system where individuals would be aware that this is one of the details of how you can understand who's more or less professional. And I can go on and on about how people make mistakes in writing, how people make mistakes in their social emotional intelligence, how they behave in meetings, how they contribute to teams or are not able to contribute to team environments. And so we're not providing a good channel for learning for young talent to understand what professional polish is and how to attain the foundational skills. The second domain is psychology. I've said it many times before, but again, I warned you that I'm repeating myself. Psychology is foundational to understanding of human behavior and also organizational behavior. Now ask yourself a question. In order to make a change with the client group that you're responsible for as an asset protection practitioner, do you have to know how those people make decisions and how they behave? If the answer is no, I worry that maybe perhaps you should take a look at what psychology is and what the field of study is, and how that really goes into the depths of how we all operate. Particularly read the work of Daniel Kahneman on that's described in the book Thinking Fast and Slow about System 1 and System 2. And so I feel like psychology informs pretty much everything that we do in asset protection and how we're able to incentivize behavior change and therefore change of environments and change or positive change in organizations. The third domain is called design. I've said it a few times, and I feel like what we're still facing is the barrage of both physical and digital tools and environments that on the surface may look very appealing. But when put to the test of actual human use, they kind of crumble because they're unintuitive and because they're not helping us deal with the challenges, particularly in a fast-paced environment, with the challenges of risk management, asset protection, and how to prevent or deal with different types of incidents. So I feel like this connection from professional polish to psychology to design can build a fairly decent set of foundational skills, foundational understanding in young talent. And think about what better knowledge of those three categories in those three domains could do to someone who's, let's say, working as a security guard and getting the marginal pay that they bring home, right? What can they learn? How could they be empowered to properly enter our field and then aspire to achieve, promotions and upward mobility? So the next 4 domains are the focus domains of knowledge. Those are the ones that we talk about all the time in our in our trade. And so I feel like while there are practitioners that can navigate their way through the 4 domains, it seems like that's not universally required, but it should be, because in order, again, to deal with the challenges that are facing us today, both in public sector and also in private sector, it's very important to actually be dangerous enough to talk about each one of those 4 domains with a good degree of confidence, competence, and credibility. So, operational security or operational controls. You have to understand, even at a trivial level, how to organize, let's say, a group of people who need to work together to solve asset protection problems for organizations. You also have to understand what the difference is between policies, procedures, standards, and guidelines would be, and how each of those could influence behaviors in an organization. And if they don't influence behavior in organizations, what are some of the reasons? Another aspect of operational security is doing a lot of research and investigative work so that you can collect that threat intelligence. You could deliver analyzed content, or the results of your analysis, I should say, to decision makers. So I think that, and there's obviously, there's many other facets of operational security that are super important, like managing security force, interacting with different functions in organizations, and so on and so forth. But I feel like, as many examples I can offer, there's never going to be enough to cover the entire spectrum of what just this one domain, operational security, entails. And then we talk about 3 other domains. Next one being technological controls. Now, technological controls help us understand what's going on with the tools that we need to be using in order to solve the challenges that we're facing, right? So those tools could include your typical things like video surveillance, access control, alarm systems, variety of subsystems that are connected to those 3, right? Or with those 3. But it also entails protection of data and different technologies that serve the purpose of protection of data. And so if a practitioner can only speak about, let's say, video surveillance and access control, and perhaps some subsystems, but it doesn't understand principles of data protection, I think that's a huge disadvantage, because consider this. You can't ask manufacturers questions about how they protect the data feed from the edge device to the server, and how that data feed then is protected on the network, because you wouldn't know how the network is designed, and you wouldn't know what tools are required in order to have a sufficient level of protection for that data, or any other data for that matter. The other way to look at it. If you're well equipped with protecting data, but don't understand how different hardware that's connected to data management and data administration could be compromised in the physical sense, or how data doesn't equal information. Information, just again, to remind everyone, information exists in 3 domains, not in 1, right? So it's not just ones and zeros. It's what you have in your head and what could also be presented in a written form on paper, in addition to having ones and zeros represent information. So if an InfoSec professional talks about how ones and zeros are protected, they're leaving out a significant volume of necessary knowledge to discuss the full spectrum of protecting information, which may entail operational security, which may entail threat intelligence, which may entail video surveillance, access control, and so on. The next domain is physical security. Physical security is something that is debatable as a term in our industry. So I believe that we have gone way too far in using the words physical security to describe everything that's not cyber. Why? Because I think that the deliberate use of words is very important. If I call everything that I'm doing, let's say I'm not a cyber person, if I call everything that I'm doing physical security, then I am basically I'm shorting myself from possibility to discuss protection of information, for example, because immediately it will be usurped by someone who says, oh, I'm a cyber person, I protect ones and zeros and information lives in my domain, right? Whereas it's not really correct. Information does not live in one domain. It doesn't live in just ones and zeros, as I said before. The same goes for speaking about physical security as just covering many other types of incidents that are blended, if you will. So you can have an incident that does have a physical effect on a facility, but what if it has an effect on reputation? Would you know how to protect reputation if you call yourself a physical security practitioner? And why then physical security is sufficient to describe what you do if you also protect reputation? So again, the way I've been discussing physical security, it rests only within a more narrow spectrum. Narrow to site selection and landscaping. Narrow to CPTED, crime prevention through environmental design. Building compartmentalization. Signage and wayfinding. Management of pedestrian and vehicular traffic. Protection from blast, gunfire, and other physical effects on physical space. Meaning that if somebody comes to a door with a sledgehammer, right, that's a physical attack on the physical space. So I can certainly associate physical security with reinforcement of doors, windows, walls, roofs, right? And that's what I believe should describe physical security. So the last domain, but not least, is incident management. It could have easily been paired together with operational security, but I feel like it deserves its own space because to me, everything that's incident related also is related to reduced cognition or the need to operate under duress, under stress. And our behavior under stress is very different from our behavior in normal circumstances. For that, you can go and have a look at variety of publications. Luckily, we have quite a few publications that discuss decision making under stress and how people who can keep it together and have had good training and experience in working under stress have dealt with these types of incidents with good results. But also you can see a lot of examples where people have made grave mistakes in addressing incidents when operating under stress. Sometimes this idea of operating under stress goes as far as not being able to make any decisions. People just freeze and they go into this comatose state, regardless of their seniority or regardless of their responsibility to the organization. I've seen this both among senior decision makers who may not be related to or operating in our field. Nonetheless, they're responsible for, let's say, incident management, crisis management. But I've also seen the same behavior from people who, in our industry, who just didn't have enough good training and enough practice to operate under stress. Then incident management also has leadership components that are slightly different from how you would lead in operational security under normal circumstances. And so there's much literature on that as well. And so I feel like incident management deserves its own domain. So those are the 7 domains of competence that I believe our industry should adopt. I know for a fact that some of them are already being adopted. It's just not being organized into this system. And so the continual learning platform is organized in the same manner. It has 7 domains of competence attached to a self-assessment with which users start. They try to understand where they have more or less competence on when it's compared to the domains of knowledge, right? And so using that self-assessment, a person can go and engage with different materials across the domains. But at least what's important here is this person will understand very clearly the context in which they're learning. They'll understand that, for example, material on blast protection pertains to physical security, or that documentation from, let's say, a cybersecurity organization pertains to the technological domain. So that immediately helps someone organize their thoughts and also apply the knowledge they're gaining directly in their immediate environment. They don't necessarily need to go and study, let's say, the domain of technology unless they want to increase their competence and credibility, but they could study something that's immediately pertinent to what they do day in, day out, right? For example, if they sit in a command and control environment, right? Obviously, incident management will be important for them. Operational security will be important. Technology will be important, right? So they can concentrate on those things, depending on what the self-assessment results are. And the best part about it is that the materials keep on coming. They keep on being added to the learning management system. It's never the finite number, right? Right now, the platform has more than 350 information materials, and that are obviously allocated to each of the domains, but it's growing every month. And hopefully, with the help of the community, it'll continue to grow and expand beyond the first 1,000 or 2 or 3, right? That's the aspiration. So I feel it's a very good start for the Generalist Podcast to address, finally, what Sphere State is about, what the aspiration of the Skill Domains platform is, and what we're hoping the community will begin adopting. Not just the community itself, but also academic institutions. We also want colleges and universities, even those who have programs that call themselves security management programs, be it bachelor's degree or master's degree or something else. We want those programs to also be connected with our platform or adopt the way our platform is organized, at least domain-wise, to better structure and equalize. That's probably the most important part here, is to equalize how the curriculum is developed and how it's delivered. Because I feel like certifications, on the one hand, have served us relatively well up to now, but we all know they're not enough. So, I really appreciate everyone's attention and also will appreciate everyone's engagement with this new Generalist Podcast, with the new ideas that we're going to be sharing with you. Please let me know if this is too long, if you want to change something, if you have questions about the Skill Domains platform. This is not obviously going to be the only topic we're going to be discussing. We certainly will look at the current affairs in our industry well beyond continual learning. However, I felt it would be a very good start. Thanks again, all of you, for your attention. Please, as always, stay safe.